we move on our next presenters, Professor Andrea Benyovszky. She is living in Michigan, United States. She is working for Aquinas College. She is just set her own consulting company in the United States, and she's focused on the conductive education. Her presentation name is Lifelong Support for Transition Through Conductive Education in Michigan. Before you start, Andrea, I would like to ask you just give a short introduction what you are doing, and perhaps talk a few idea that why you established your own consulting company. Thank you. The floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Martin. Hi, everyone. And I started, I am a conductor teacher from the Pető Institute in Budapest. What is not Pető anymore is the Semmelweis University András Pető Faculty. And our program started in 1999 in the United States. And this is why I came here to provide conductive education and conductive teacher service for students. So let us see how I can share my screen. Here we are. Alrighty, from the beginning. All right, thank you. So I'm sure many of you are, coming up with the question how conductive education and educational-based rehabilitation approach can be a part of this presentation. However, I would like to show you what's happening and why we have this program. Sorry, somehow my screen is not moving. Martin, can you see the screen?
There is no problem with the screen. That
I see the screen.
Good, thank you. So probably many of you heard about András Pető, who established the conductive education program first in Budapest, but it became well known in the whole country in the 40s. However, conductive education grew, and many families, hundreds of families traveled to Budapest since the 1780s and take part of the conductive education program in there. Since the 80s, things have changed. Instead, families coming to Budapest and providing, so many benefits for the Pető and for Hungary with their huge travel, they start to bring conductors all over the world. In the United States, we have a first conductive education program in 1960s in Wisconsin, but that was just one program. But since the 80s, there was many program, was established in Canada, Mexico, but mainly in the United States. Our program was established by a parent who wanted to bring conductive education and participate in the conductive education program, not just traveling. That family stayed in Budapest for 6 months to use conductive education as approach for their kids. But after, when they came back to the United States, especially in Michigan, they were searching how they can bring Hungarian method and how they can bring Hungarian conductors while they are training their own conductor teachers. He connected with Aquinas College, and Aquinas College connected with the Pető, and this is their cooperation. Worked very well in the 90s, and they established the Conductive Learning Center of North America, but I was the director, I'm still the director, for 22 years. I would like to share with you why is it the big challenge, to have, this program and also living with disability. And maybe it's going to give more sense for you why this young adults and elderly population is looking for help after they complete their conductive education program. One of my students, Sarah, started with us from the beginning. She born with cerebral palsy, That's mean, there was the lack of oxygen when she born, and certain part of her brain didn't get the oxygen, but caused the motor disability. She has difficulties to use her legs, her hands to manipulate. You can see on the picture how difficult for her to separate her finger, or even dressing, taking off the shoes is a huge challenge. She learned to use the walker, but her major transportation is with the wheelchair. She participated in our school from age 3, and she graduated from our school, at age 19. She also was attending different another local schools. She's an extremely bright student. She was always, very intensively participating in the school life and going out with the friends who was able to help for her. And went University of Illinois, where she lived by herself. I mean, not by herself, in the special unit, when there was help given for them, to not just for her, but other students who is living with motor challenges in there. She graduated, with the master degree last year. Okay, but what is the challenge here? What's happening afterwards? Here is the 20-something years old young adult who has still cerebral palsy, and depending on other people have. The population of cerebral palsy, it's, we can find in every 500 school-age children, but it is dramatically growing. We think how the medical field, is improved care. We are going to have less patient who has brain damage during or after birth. I have to tell you that's false. The population is growing, just like aging population is growing. And we have more and more people who are suffering with some kind of muscle condition or other disability. And they are limited to walk, they have trouble using their hands, sometimes speech is affected too. There is, in every state, I don't like to say in America because every state has a different role. In Michigan, kids who has challenges can stay in the educational system until age 26. But some of them has a trouble of learning, some medical condition, just like epilepsy. And how the survival rate is growing, there is more and more people who are living with motor condition, with different motor condition. So it is non-progressive motor disorder. So that's mean it's determined certainly by the aging, the quality of life. But the challenge from the beginning and even later, in Sarah's case, who is an extremely smart young lady with no speech problem, but she has to have consistent health service and also consistent help to take part of social life and going to work, or even if she's working at home, some help. So there is a lot of things that is, playing a big factor in the quality of life, but definitely, it's the type of cerebral palsy or motor disorder, but also where they are, not just, geographically, but also their family. Why they are reaching out, in America to Hungary, and why they want the conductive education service accessibility. It's a completely different system, than traditional therapies. It's a holistic view, how you are able to actively take part of your life. These young adults who are growing up, they want to get out from their wheelchair, they want to move, they want to social contact, they don't want to live at home with their family. And the quality of their life, it's really depending on the surrounding, just like with elderly people. But they have many challenges. And think about the silver population also, physical challenges. Cannot walk without cane or walker. Cognitive challenges. Sometimes they have, longer time to understanding or paying attention on certain things. Their attention is sometimes jumping from one thing to another. Many of them have sensory issue because of the brain damage. Many cases they have hearing aids or loss of hearing in some level. Many of them has visual problem, not just wearing glasses, but also process visual information. Many of them has communication problem. I mean, their speech is hard to understand, or they are using communication device. And the huge things also the environmental barriers. Even in America, we know there is much more higher the accessibility, but still there is a big challenge for them to get out to go to work. Conductive education is providing service in Budapest and all over in the world for kids, but also they are a huge adult population who are, benefit for conductive education. In Budapest, there is hundreds of people receiving conductive education who has Parkinson's disease, sclerosis multiplex, or a different kind of, mental issue, and also people who suffered from stroke, and they are relearning to live independently. Every human being has the potential for learning, even after a brain damage or after, a stroke. And learning starts at birth and it really ends at death. However, with our, the conductive education is utilize all of the holistic approach. I mean, they are not looking to fix some function or healing people, just fixing their hands or surgeries or taking medication, because these are not working, after a brain damage. It is providing physical, sensory, cognitive, communication, and social, emotional skills, how you can, have a vital and happy and active life. However, the challenge is even bigger than the senior population. Because what happened with Sarah and what's happening with young adults who are depending on help? They go back home, even after they was in college, example her, and they are a big challenge for the family. Someone has to be at home, helping for them to go to the bathroom or fixing lunch or dressing and undressing. It is very big challenge, because there are not really homes for smart people who has physical disabilities. The homes, for elderlies, but you just mentioned, Martin, that it's a beautiful facilities that we have also in Michigan, but they don't have young people. The minimum age when you can enter, in many of them is age 60. And these people need physical help, but they want to be socializing, they want to, to meet with people, to have a normal life, but they has to stay at home or they have to go to homes, but it's mainly taking care of them, but not supporting their emotional and social help and needs. This is the same things in Hungary too. These kids has no funding. They haven't got the retirement saving, but they require the same help than elderly people. So that is the big question in Michigan, but also I think all over in the world, how we can implement a more active, happy-oriented, and also better quality of life for those who are maybe under the age of 60, but they need an environment where they can live a barrier-free and happy life. That's all. I try to be short and try to be not giving the educational background that much, but that's a real question in everybody's mind now who are raising child with disability or became a young adult.
Thank you, Andrea. I think that was it's very, very good approach how we can I just wrote down the necessity of the cognitive trainings in any age, because we just focus on the aging problems, but what you mentioned, it has no any relation at this step with the aging, but we have to really rethink that also the youngs, they will age, and what's going to happen, what is the solution from the society. So it's a very, very big question. You mentioned that they have no funds, they have no other income. How is it working in the States? How can those people survive?
Yeah, so they have income, but they don't have savings. So that's mean, when you are in the system and, you have to save and you have your retirement saving and you are very mindful, for your elderly age to have a good quality life and living if it's possible. But when you are a young adult, you are living on, again, so many of them has a very difficult time to find a job because of their disabilities, even in the United States. And also they have some insurance, money and some governmental help, but it's not covering that high expenses that their home requires. Does it make sense? I think Martin is just froze for me.
Approach, and it was very, very, very interesting that we invited to our conference Paralympics. So they were attend on the conference. They made a few presentations, and it was very, very interesting that, for example, here in Hungary, the people who are living with disability, they tend to live together. So they want to move one step away from the society. They feel, of course, they want to be involved in the process of the society. So they want to work if they can. They want to pay tax, of course, definitely. But they have something in the mind that they want to live in their community and not in the society as a full member. So they if they have a chance, that was the question, that if they have a chance to move from the family house to a community, what they can be involved, they do it or not, and they voted on yes. So the majority. How is in this same issue in the United States?
I will say it's very mixed. So some students just really want to live independently, but they cannot find the accessible living arrangement, or even if the home is, accessible, but the surrounding or the workplace, it's not always. And also, even just, if they want to go to the bathroom when they work, they don't have a helper, who can go and help for them, or there is a lot of small challenges that it's making very difficult. There are kids or young adults who are coming and attending the program for 20 years. And when they was 14, 15 years old, they said, no, I became normal. And I don't want to come to that, that segregated program. But when they are getting to 20, they really, or over 20, they really feel the support from each other, and nobody understands their challenges, just their bodies who are, have the same challenges also. Again, depending on the family background, financial and also emotional, where they can end it up, but they all want to leave home when they are getting to the young adult stage of their life. They all want to have an independent life, even if they have physical challenges and they need help to taking care of them. There is no solution at this moment.
Mm-hmm. You know that in the European Union, we have a brand new Accessible Act since 2015. And now we are focusing on a bigger scale. So not only just the people living with disabilities, but also with some allergies and other or different problems, they are involved. Even seniors are involved in the new accessibility programs. That what do you see? How is in Europe compared to the United States in this accessibility process, in this general accessibility approach?
So it is very challenging for me to answer this question because I'm living here for 22 years. So when I go home, I see changes, but I am not, working, in that environment, and I do not have that much access, in the mentality in Hungary, how is it changing? You know, definitely I see changes, but it's not something when you live there and experiencing those.